Chapter 41 Ye Nantian ends the war. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 41 Ye Nantian ends the war. One exchange was all it took to decide the battle. With lightning speed, Dai Yao had Fatty pinned on the ground. The crowd watched in stunned silence. Is that guy for real? A first-ring soul master? Someone stared at the arena in disbelief. Maybe we've all been wrong about him. How could someone like that be a coward? Doubts began to surface regarding Dai Yao's reputation over the past 3 years. He's already down. Continuing to beat him is going too far. Some felt Dai Yao's actions were excessively cruel. Seeing Dai Yao victorious, Zhu Zhuqing couldn't hide her joy, barely noticing the pain racking her body. The last 3 years weren't just about Dai Yao enduring humiliation. She had too. While Dai Yao's method seemed brutal, they were reserved for his enemies. To her, they were justified and decisive. Now that the hardship was over, she wanted to share the moment with Dai Yao, but her injuries kept her rooted in place. Filled with pride, Zhu Zhuqing was taken aback. She hadn't expected Dai Yao to overcome a 1-ring difference and beat a great soul master. An extra soul ring isn't just about one more skill. Absorbing a soul ring enhances every aspect of a soul master, and he defeated Fatty with overwhelming force. Dai Yaming's face turned thunderous. Dai Yao beating Fatty was one thing, but the severity of the injuries felt like a direct slap to his face. Fatty was one of his more reliable underlings. There were stronger people, but they were nobles and wouldn't take orders without question. Fatty, on the other hand, completed every task meticulously. Now, Dai Yao had beaten Fatty senseless in front of everyone. He lost his right-hand man and suffered a significant loss of face. He strode onto the stage, carefully dragged Fatty's head from the crater, and checked for a pulse. He could still feel a faint breath. Fatty's face was a mess. He struggled to open his swollen eyes and mumbled a few broken words. I'm sorry. The words were barely audible, his mouth too damaged to articulate clearly. He betrayed Dai Yaming's trust, trying to teach Dai Yao a lesson, and instead got a beatdown. Dai Yaming's expression was conflicted. Despite Fatty's defeat and brutal injuries, the man had dedicated his life to him and been a valuable asset. Good. 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 Dai Yaming spat out each word, his blood boiling with rage. You did what you said and collected the interest. But you won't be walking out of here alive today. Dai Yaming spoke coldly, but Fatty's defeat made him realize Dai Yao was a serious threat. Overcoming an entire level to crush a great soul master spoke volumes about his talent, and Dai Yao was already at level 20, ready for his next soul ring. Facing a great soul master Dai Yao, even he would be troubled. Plus, he and Dai Yao were now sworn enemies. Regret pricked at him. Dai Yao was 6 years younger. He was close to becoming a great soul master, and his potential was limitless, but there was no turning back. He had to eliminate Dai Yao while he was still weak, even if it meant breaking clan rules. Otherwise, when Dai Yao grew stronger, he would be a dead man. A cold glint appeared in his eyes. Activating his martial soul, his palms transformed into tiger paws, claws extending. Dai Yaming's actions sparked outrage among the spectators. 2 great soul masters ganging up on a single first-level soul master was utterly shameless. Not only was it bullying, but attacking while the other was exhausted from a fight was beyond contemptible. The audience condemned his despicable behavior, but Dai Yaming didn't care. Dai Yao's potential terrified him. Dai Yao reacted, assuming a defensive stance, his eyes locked on Dai Yaming. The pressure was immense. Dai Yaming wasn't just any great soul master. In the past 3 years, he'd risen from level 25 to 29, reaching the peak. What's more, he possessed a soul bone. The soul bone granted him a new skill and enhanced his entire body. The pressure he exerted dwarfed Fatty's. Cold sweat trickled down Dai Yao's face, his heart sinking. Without a second soul ring and only the Baji collapse, his chances were slim. Off to the side, Zhu Zhuqing watched with glee, relieved Dai Yaming could handle Dai Yao. She was scared of having such a potentially dangerous enemy. She even regretted her behavior of offending Dai Yao because of her willfulness. Zhu Zhuqing was frantic, struggling to reach Dai Yao. His injuries made it impossible to stand. A powerful voice echoed through the arena. Your Highness, you've gone too far. Everyone turned to see a burly young man stride into the arena. many commoner soul masters looked relieved, recognizing the third person in the academy you didn't want to mess with, Ye Nantian. Under the admiring gaze of many soul masters, Ye Nantian stepped into the arena and stood between Dai Yao and Dai Yaming. After Dai Yao left with the news of Zhu Zhuqing's peril, Feng Wudong realized something was wrong. Instead of rushing to the arena himself, he immediately sought Ye Nantian's help. After hearing the story, Ye Nantian was eager to assist. He'd already been at the arena during the fight, observing silently. Dai Yao's one-hit victory looked like an accident to some, but Ye Nantian knew it was thanks to Engine, hidden force. Internal power required compressed soul power, which could only be achieved through great luck or determination. Good kid, it really worked. Ye Nantian thought, impressed. Seeing the tense situation, many noble soul masters gathered around Dai Yaming, creating a standoff against Ye Nantian and his group. Dai Yaming frowned. These are royal affairs. It's none of your business. Ye Nantian cracked his neck and retorted, I'm a commoner, but also a soul master. I can't stand by while a great soul master attacks a one-ring soul master. Dai Yaming tossed his hands up and gave up on all pretenses. Today, Dai Yao would be crippled, one way or the other. Ye Nantian, I respect you, but don't get ahead of yourself. You're a commoner. You don't get to make decisions here. These words angered Ye Nantian and countless commoner soul masters. Noble soul masters had always bullied them, banding together for protection. Now, the second prince was so openly belittling them. They couldn't stand for it. Many commoner soul masters stepped forward, glaring at the noble soul masters. The tension was palpable. After a moment of anger, Ye Nantian quickly regained his composure. Arguing with the nobles would only make things worse for them. As their leader, he had to protect the commoner soul masters. Fighting Dai Yaming for Dai Yao would be unwise. Chapter 42 Heaven's Promise. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 42, The 10-Day Promise. Just then, a voice cut through the tension. Brother Nantian, I appreciate you having my back today, and I'll return the favor someday. Dai Yao bowed to thank the civilian soul masters and then expressed his gratitude to Ye Nantian. While he appreciated Ye Nantian's offer of help, this was ultimately between him and Dai Yaming, and he needed to handle it himself. He glared at the somber Dai Yaming, making it clear their conflict was beyond repair. Your Highness, he said, things have gone too far for either of us to back down now. This is between us, Dai Yao continued. No need for anyone else to get involved. Dai Yaming, though a bit concerned by the tense atmosphere, kept up his charming facade. What do you want? He asked smoothly. 10 days, Dai Yao declared with conviction. A decisive battle. How about it? His true opponent wasn't just the second prince, but also the even more dangerous first prince. However, he could no longer afford to delay. He had to eliminate Dai Yaming as an obstacle. Ye Nantian frowned, thinking Dai Yao was getting ahead of himself. Dai Yao had only defeated Fatty because of his unexpected hidden strength, Engine. But Dai Yaming was certainly aware of this ability by now, and Dai Yaming wasn't just a level 29 soul master, he also possessed a soul bone and a top-tier beast martial soul. Among great soul masters, he was a force to be reckoned with. Knowing Dai Yao's secret weapon, Dai Yaming would be prepared. While Ye Nantian was impressed by Dai Yao's victory over Fatty, he saw no path to victory against Dai Yaming. He wasn't the only one. Most soul masters felt Dai Yao was overconfident. The civilian soul masters remained silent out of respect for Ye Nantian, but many noble soul masters openly scoffed. Does he really think beating that loudmouth Fatty puts him in the same league as His Highness? One sneered. Total delusion. Dai Yaming remained calm, but his eyes betrayed his concern as he stared at Dai Yao. He knew Dai Yao needed those 10 days to obtain a soul ring, allowing him to become a great soul master. After a long pause, he finally spoke. What if I refuse? Dai Yao grinned, laced with anger. Weren't you sending people to challenge me to a duel every day? What's the matter? Now that I'm calling you out, you're too scared to accept. Dai Yaming might have been able to stomach that, but his noble soul master supporters couldn't. For a level 1 soul master to act so arrogant in the face of a great soul master was an insult to them all. Aristocratic soul masters cared about appearances, and the crowd erupted in outrage. Forming a faction had pros and cons. It allowed them to pool resources, but as their leader, the second prince's honor represented them all. If a far stronger soul master provoked Dai Yamming, enduring it might be understandable, but to be challenged by someone weaker and back down? How could he maintain control of his team? Gritting his teeth, he glared at Dai Yao. Fine. He snapped. 10 days it is. Later, Ye Nantian sought out Dai Yao. Are you planning to get your second soul ring in those 10 days? Dai Yao nodded. Ye Nantian shook his head and sighed. Do you honestly think becoming a great soul master will give you a chance? You're underestimating Dai Yamming. Even with your second soul ring, he'll still be 7 or 8 levels higher in soul power. You'll have no advantage there. Plus, he has a soul bone. As far as I know, while it's only a few thousand years old, its soul skills are incredibly powerful. Possibly even stronger than his second soul skill. Ye Nantian's words sunk Dai Yao's spirits. By every metric, his chances were slim. His only hope rested on that second soul ring. It needed to be pushed beyond its limits, perhaps even surpassing 1,000 years in age, so the boost it provided could close the gap. Dai Yao felt a bitter taste in his mouth. He clasped his fist to Ye Nantian. Thank you, brother Nantian, for the warning, but I still believe I have a chance. Seeing Dai Yao's calm demeanor, unfazed by his words, Ye Nantian was surprised. This kid seems confident he can beat Dai Yamming. Does he have something up his sleeve? Since you know what's at stake, there's nothing more I can say. I hope you win this fight. With that, Ye Nantian turned and left. Watching Ye Nantian go, Dai Yao felt a surge of gratitude. If he succeeded, he would repay Ye Nantian's kindness tenfold. After walking through the woods, he returned to his training spot. Feng Wudong had taken the injured Zhu Zhuqing back early that morning. Opening the door, he was greeted by 2 beautiful faces. Zhu Zhuqing lay weakly on the bed, her face brightening at the sight of Dai Yao. Feng Wudong handed him a herbal concoction, nudged him, and said, "Since you're back, you can take care of Sister Zhuqing." The door clicked shut. Dai Yao walked to the bedside, took Zhu Zhuqing's hand from under the covers, and asked with concern, "Are you feeling any better?" Zhu Zhuqing nodded slightly. Dai Yao said guiltily, "I'm so sorry. If it wasn't for me." A delicate finger pressed against his lips, stopping him. Zhu Zhuqing stroked Dai Yao's cheek, a rare display of tenderness on her usually cold face. "It's not your fault," she said. "It's just our fate. In 10 days, I'm dueling Dai Yamming, and I'll avenge you," Dai Yao vowed solemnly. Zhu Zhuqing suddenly grew worried, struggling to sit up. "You don't have to do this for me. Can't you cancel the duel? The entire academy knows about it. I can't back down." "Then let's run. We'll leave tonight," Zhu Zhuqing said, anxiously trying to gather her belongings, but Dai Yao stopped her and reassured her, "Don't worry. I have a decent shot at winning." Seeing Dai Yao was determined, Zhu Zhuqing stopped struggling, lying back on the bed and saying softly, "I believe in you. Our lives are connected. If you die, I won't live without you." Dai Yao was stunned, a shiver running down his spine. The girl's raw emotion threatened to melt his hardened heart. "No," he thought, clenching his jaw. "I have to stick to my player ways." He fought to distance himself from Zhu Zhuqing's feelings. To distract himself, he summoned a purple lotus in his hand. Zhu Zhuqing was immediately captivated by the lotus, feeling a powerful allure emanating from it. Chapter 43 The Function of Purple Lotus. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 43 The Power of the Purple Lotus. Dai Yao hesitated. "I've got this fairy grass here. It might help you recover, but I'm not sure about side effects." The first time he saw the purple lotus, he thought of Zhu Zhuqing. They shared a similar vibe, sacred, icy, and alluring. The purple lotus swayed, radiating a mysterious, tempting aura. Zhu Zhuqing eagerly reached out and took it. Mesmerized, she studied it for a long moment before saying, "I feel a connection with this purple lotus. Its aura resonates with mine, and it's really beneficial. And, somehow, I don't think it'll hurt me." As a creation of heaven and earth, fairy grass can sense divine energy. Zhu Zhuqing felt sure the purple lotus wouldn't harm her, and she was right. Then take it, that the purple lotus dissolved in her mouth, turning to liquid as it went down. Immediately, Zhu Zhuqing's body began to emit a faint pressure, and her skin took on a subtle purple hue, her old wounds began to heal at an incredible rate. In just a few breaths, gashes deep enough to expose bone faded to faint lines, as if they'd never been there. Even Dai Yao was shocked. I don't think the fairy grass in the stories had such a crazy effect. But the changes didn't stop there. Zhu Zhuqing opened her eyes, her black pupils now tinged with a mysterious, enchanting purple. The nether cat spirit within her felt warm, like basking in sunlight, and it began to change. Her spirit was evolving, mutating for the better. Normally, a person's spirit is set at the moment it awakens. It can't be changed later. In the history of Douluo continent, no one had ever changed their spirit after awakening. Zhu Zhuqing looked at Dai Yao, surprised, noticing the change. Her voice trembled. What exactly is this purple lotus? What's wrong? Dai Yao asked, confused. Zhu Zhuqing's eyes widened. My spirit is mutating. Where did you get this? Boom star. Zhu Zhuqing's words were like a lightning strike to Dai Yao's heart. Stunned, it took him a long moment to collect himself. He solemnly warned her, don't ask where it came from. And don't tell anyone about it, or we're both dead. The consequences of news about the purple lotus's ability to change spirits sent a chill down Dai Yao's spine. So many soul masters were stuck because of their spirits. From warriors to title Douluo, some reached a plateau because of their spirits. If word got out that this could change spirits, they'd force him to hand it over, no matter the cost. Those civilian soul masters whose spirits had mutated would go to any length to eliminate the side effects. First to come after them would be those with impure spirits in the family. Even some of the elders might succumb to the temptation and come after him, but he only had one purple lotus. It wouldn't be enough. If the news leaked, they'd become enemies of the world. The thought was terrifying. Dai Yao warned, Zhuqing, from now on, don't use your spirit. After this duel, we're going somewhere no one knows us. Then you can use it. Zhu Zhuqing nodded seriously. She understood the danger. As her spirit soaked in the warmth, she realized the mutation was a gradual process. She sat up cross-legged and said, Brother Yao, don't worry. I won't show my spirit in the academy anymore. It'll take time for my spirit to change. My injuries are almost gone. I can take care of myself. Go hunt those spirit beasts. Dai Yao nodded and left the room. He only had 10 days to get his second spirit ring. Outside the college gates, a carriage waited. He hopped on. With a crack of the whip, the carriage rumbled away. One day and one night later, Dai Yao arrived at the royal beast garden. He'd used the time in the carriage to recover. Looking at the mountains and the canyon, he felt a twinge. The dangerous scene of getting his first spirit ring felt like yesterday, but he wasn't going to let them butcher him again. He walked through the canyon until he reached where the spirit beasts were kept. Chief Guard, get out here. Dai Yao sat on his horse, looked at the guards lined up to greet him, and shouted. He hadn't forgotten how, when he got his first spirit ring, a guard had tried to kill him, and paid the price. The captain had to know, and he later learned that the queen had blocked the soul master assigned to protect him. Now it was time for payback. The captain of the guard walked out, his face grim. Dai Yao's disrespectful order humiliated him in front of his men. He approached Dai Yao, trying to look calm, but Dai Yao whispered something in his ear, and the captain's face changed. He quickly summoned a soul master. Fourth Highness, if you need anything else, just ask. I'll do anything I can. Just, please be merciful. Sweat poured down his face, and he trembled. Dai Yao waved him away, then turned to the soul master. The soul master was only in his 40s, but he looked ancient. Dai Yao said, You're the soul master who's supposed to protect me when I hunt spirit beasts, right? Yes. The middle-aged soul master was confused. He didn't know why Dai Yao was looking for him. Dai Yao hadn't even gone to hunt spirit beasts, so he didn't need protection. Hearing the answer, Dai Yao sneered. You're supposed to protect me, but when I was getting my first spirit ring, someone tried to kill me. Where were you? That the middle-aged soul master was speechless. I was stopped by another soul master at the time. I didn't do it on purpose. Please understand, Your Highness. If you want me to let it go, you have to do something for me. What is it? Help me hunt a spirit beast. That the middle-aged soul master was horrified. Your Highness, it's against the rules to help a prince hunt spirit beasts. Is it allowed to neglect your duties and put me in danger? Dai Yao shot back angrily. If you don't agree, I'll report you to the council. They'll decide. You'll be done for. That the middle-aged soul master's face changed. Finally, he sighed. All right, fine. I'll do what you say. The second spirit beasts that princes have hunted have always been earth-walking dragons. I wonder how many years you plan to hunt, Your Highness. 1300. Chapter 44 Forced. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Edited content, Chapter 44 Persecution. The middle-aged soul master was taken aback and forced a smile. Your Highness, I already agreed to your terms. Don't mess with me. I'm serious. Dai Yao insisted. Seeing Dai Yao's unwavering expression, the middle-aged soul master finally realized he wasn't joking. He swallowed hard, and after a moment, said slowly, Your Highness, I can't agree to your request. Aren't you afraid of punishment from the elders? Your Highness, your request scares me more than any punishment they could dish out, the middle-aged soul master explained. You know, a soul master's second soul ring can only handle around 760 years max. Trying to absorb a 1,000-year ring is suicide. If I agreed, I'd be signing your death warrant. I can't take the blame for killing the prince. In the history of Douluo continent, no soul master has ever used a 1,000-year soul ring for their second ring, except for those rewarded by the gods during a divine trial. Absorbing a soul ring means enduring not only its immense soul power, but also the soul beast's malevolent will. A first-ring soul master simply isn't strong enough to handle a 1,000-year soul ring. Dai Yao was frustrated. As a one-ring soul master, he couldn't possibly hunt down a 1,000-year soul beast, especially an earth-walking dragon known for its power. He'd only managed to kill the 700-year-old Xian Shui turtle to get his first ring because it wasn't much of an attacker, and he'd gotten lucky finding its weakness. Without this guy's help, he'd never get a 1,000-year ring. Even if he asked a family soul master, they'd never allow it. This middle-aged soul master had something to lose, so there was still some hope. Dai Yao pressed him. If you don't agree, I'll report you to the council of elders. Neglecting your duty and nearly killing the prince. They'll make an example of you and your whole family. That the middle-aged soul master wasn't fazed. He scoffed and retorted, the punishment for dereliction of duty is a slap on the wrist compared to killing the prince. Besides, some weird soul master stopped me. Find him if you want someone to blame. Your Highness, you're asking for death, but you're not dragging me down with you. That the situation was deadlocked. No matter how hard he pushed, Dai Yao couldn't get anywhere. If I can't strong-arm him, am I really stuck with a 100-year ring? He thought bitterly. Sighing inwardly. Suddenly, a white light erupted from Dai Yao's body. He activated his martial spirit, and a powerful tiger's roar echoed through the forest. The middle-aged soul master narrowed his eyes. Your Highness, you wouldn't try to force my hand, would you? I'm a soul sect. Dai Yao shook his head, his tone softening. No, I just want to show you something. What? My first soul ring. The middle-aged soul master glanced at the yellow ring circling Dai Yao and scoffed. What's so special about a 100-year-old ring? Look closer, Dai Yao suggested. Realizing Dai Yao must have a reason for being so serious, the middle-aged soul master stepped closer and examined the yellow ring. When he noticed the faint purple mixed within the yellow, his eyes widened and he cried, How old is your soul ring? 700 years. The simple words hit the middle-aged soul master like a thunderclap. The limit for a first soul ring had always been 430 years. No one had ever broken that barrier, yet here, right in front of him, was a miracle. He stared blankly at Dai Yao, speechless. After a long pause, he croaked, How did you do that? That's my business. Now, do you believe I can handle a 1,000-year soul ring? If I reported this to the council of elders, you and your family would be dead. But if you help me hunt a 1,000-year soul beast, you might survive. You know what to do, Dai Yao said. He wasn't worried about revealing the secret of his over-the-limit soul ring absorption. These soul masters were supported by the Xingluo royal family. Any trouble would bring down his entire family. Besides, everyone would know this secret in his duel with Dai Yaming in a few days if he succeeded in absorbing it. The middle-aged soul master sighed. It seems your highness has already made up his mind. What choice do I have? Come with me. The royal zoo was divided into 3 sections, each section housed different soul beasts. These were the black water turtle, the earth-walking dragon, and the diamond beast. The soul beasts a white tiger spirit master would hunt for their first, second, and third soul rings. Since the third soul ring was over 1,700 years, the oldest beast in the zoo was only 2,000 years old. Earth-walking dragons lived in mountain caves, making the terrain rough and difficult. After hours of travel, they finally found a dragon of the right age. Your Highness, we found one, the middle-aged soul master said wearily. He turned to look at Dai Yao, expecting him to be winded and panting, but found him perfectly fine. He was shocked. As a powerful soul master, his physical fitness was far superior to a first-rank soul master. He was exhausted, but Dai Yao seemed to be doing just fine. What a freak, he must be to even consider a 1,000-year soul ring. The middle-aged soul master sighed. Little did he know, the green lotus within Dai Yao's body was emitting a faint glow. Let's get started then, Dai Yao ordered. A massive aura erupted from the middle-aged soul master, creating a gust of wind that swept up leaves and exposed the damp soil. The 4 yellow and purple soul rings pulsed with mesmerizing light. Dai Yao, dodging most of the force like a swimmer, was unaffected by the remaining pressure. His 3 years of training under the waterfall were paying off. What a monster! The middle-aged soul master exclaimed again, annoyed by Dai Yao's constant prodding. He had wanted to flex on him and give him a hard time when releasing his soul ring, but to his surprise, Dai Yao looked so calm and relaxed. The powerful aura also woke the sleeping dragon. Majestic roar echoed from the cave, and a ferocious behemoth emerged. A 1,000-year earth-walking dragon. Chapter 45 Your Soul Ring. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 45, Millennium Soul Ring. During his time at Star Luo Royal Academy, Dai Yao learned how to identify a soul beast's age. He'd made a point of studying the earthly dragon, a type of spirit beast particularly suited for a white tiger spirit. You can roughly estimate an earthly dragon's age by its size. The one in front of him was about 8 meters long and 3 meters high, making it roughly 1,300 to 1,400 years old. That's the one, Dai Yao told the middle-aged soul master. Immediately, the man leaped forward and began a fierce battle with the earthly dragon. Yellow and purple light radiated from the man's soul rings, and soul power surged as the forest echoed with the dragon's piercing roars. Fear flashed in the earthly dragon's eyes. After 1,000 years, it had developed some intelligence and knew it couldn't escape. Its only chance was to fight. White vapor shot from its nostrils. Then, opening its jaws, it gathered white energy in its mouth. A terrifying aura mixed with the energy, and a white shockwave blasted toward the middle-aged soul master. The ground was gouged out by the force of the wave. Nice! The man shouted. His 4th soul ring flashed, readying his finishing move. The 2 powerful soul skills collided, and white light seemed to engulf the world. After a moment, Dai Yao slowly opened his eyes. The middle-aged soul master looked a little worse for wear, with dirt smeared on his face and several tears in his clothes. Luckily, I didn't fail. Your Highness, go finish it off. Thank you for your help today, Dai Yao said with a solemn bow. Without the man, he couldn't have hunted a millennium soul beast alone. He vowed to repay the middle-aged soul master if he ever became powerful. He approached the earthly dragon's body slowly. The creature was badly wounded and lay helpless on the ground, its huge pupils glaring angrily at Dai Yao. Its mouth opened slightly, moving weakly, as if trying to attack Dai Yao. Wasting no time, Dai Yao plunged his knife into the earthly dragon's brain. The dragon's pupils slowly dilated, and a rich purple light coalesced around its body. It was the perfect time to absorb the soul ring. Dai Yao's face tightened. He took a deep breath, sat beside the earthly dragon's body, and told the middle-aged soul master, "Sorry to bother you." The man nodded and stood guard, vigilant. With the man's protection, Dai Yao could focus on absorbing the soul ring, gathering his soul power. a white tiger phantom materialized behind him, and he summoned the earthly dragon's soul ring. The purple ring seemed to have found its release. The moment it touched Dai Yao's spirit, a huge surge of soul power flooded him like a tidal wave. The powerful fluctuations made the middle-aged soul master nervous. The quality of this millennium-level earthly dragon must be comparable to his fourth soul ring, which was 3,000 or 4,000 years old. As soon as the soul ring entered his body, Dai Yao felt a surge of heat. He felt as if he were soaking in magma, his whole body on fire. Earthly dragons are inherently powerful and violent, and their soul rings reflect that nature. Dai Yao felt like countless knives were cutting into his body, his internal organs screaming in pain. The soul ring's power tore at him constantly. He coughed up blood. This was the first time he'd absorbed a soul ring that exceeded his limit. He had absorbed a millennium soul ring last time and was well prepared. He'd spent 3 years training hard, developing a strong body under the waterfall. His physical toughness far surpassed that of ordinary soul masters, but he was only 9 years old, and a millennium soul ring was still far beyond the limit for a second soul ring. The violent earthly dragon soul ring kept attacking Dai Yao's frail body. To the middle-aged soul master, it seemed like Dai Yao was sure to explode. Well, it looks like His Highness is about to die, the man thought, sighing. I need to prepare to run for my life. But what happened next shocked him. Dai Yao's body, which had been on the verge of collapse, began to repair itself. Qinglian, heal me. Enduring the excruciating pain, Dai Yao roared in his mind. Suddenly, Qinglian emitted a continuous green light, repairing the damage, but the energy still surged, and his body was alternately damaged and restored, gradually consuming and absorbing the soul ring's energy. Finally, after an unknown amount of time, Dai Yao's body stopped taking damage, and the absorption process came to an end. The faint drops of blood stopped seeping out, and his brow relaxed. In his mind, a purple soul ring appeared. Dai Yao was drenched in sweat, but the joy of success eclipsed the fatigue. Even if I'm pushing my limits, I won't die. Looking at his two spirits, Qinglian and Holy White Tiger, he pondered. He'd planned to attach the soul ring to Qinglian. The biggest advantage of twin spirits is that once one reaches title Douluo, the second can begin absorbing spirit rings as if it were at the first spirit's level. In the story, after Tang San became title Douluo and attached a ring to the clear sky hammer, the minimum age of the spirit beast was over 50,000 years, but Dai Yao's situation was different. He also had twin spirits, but despite never attaching a ring to the Chaos Qinglian spirit, it already had a yellow soul ring for some reason. He wanted to make Qinglian his main spirit, then add a ring to the Holy White Tiger after becoming title Douluo. The Millennium Soul Ring seemed to have a mind of its own, flying toward the Chaos Qinglian. However, Chaos Qinglian seemed disgusted. With a slight shake, it rejected the ring, pushing it toward the Holy White Tiger. As if the ring wasn't worthy, the purple ring tried several more times, but with the same result. It could only watch the Holy White Tiger wagging its tail and staring back longingly. Dai Yao was stunned by the strange scene. As the Holy White Tiger absorbed the ring, it regained its majestic bearing. Standing tall and dominant, Dai Yao breathed softly and slowly opened his eyes. 2 soul rings circled him, one yellow, one purple, a Millennium Soul Ring as his second. Finally, he sighed. The middle-aged soul master stared at Dai Yao blankly, looking almost crazy. He rushed to Dai Yao's side, panting. You really did it. Your Highness, do you know? You've made a miracle. In the entire Soul Master world, no one has ever absorbed a Millennium Soul Ring as their second. Chapter 46 Lord of the Netherworld. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 46, Lord of the Netherworld. Dai Yao was surprised to feel his soul power. It had reached level 23. A 1,000-year soul ring really makes a difference. It's like gaining several years of training in one go. His physical condition had improved dramatically as well. If he fought Fatty now, he could probably take him down with just Bajibang, no need for Engine. Going from a first-level soul master to a great soul master is a whole different ballgame, Dai Yao said, marveling at the changes in his body. I guess luck played a bigger role in my fight with Fatty than I thought. Just then, the middle-aged soul master opened the tent flap and said respectfully, Your Highness, it's almost time. They'd rested for a day in the royal beast garden to recover. After Dai Yao successfully absorbed the 1,000-year soul ring, the middle-aged soul master's attitude had become extremely respectful, bordering on fawning. "Alright, let's head back." They ate some dried meat, packed up their gear, and left the royal beast park the way they came. After hours of travel, they finally reached the edge of the park. Dai Yao briefly said goodbye to the middle-aged soul master, hopped into the carriage, and headed through the canyon. Once out, Dai Yao opened the window and looked back. The mountains rose like a towering wall, blocking the view, leaving only a narrow crack in the center. "I probably won't ever come back here," Dai Yao thought with mixed feelings. His experience in the beast control garden hadn't been the greatest, but the 2 soul rings he obtained there gave him a unique connection to the place. The oldest soul beast in the royal beast garden was only 2,000 years old, which wouldn't be enough for his 3rd soul ring. He'd likely have to go to the Star Doe forest to find a suitable one. The middle-aged soul master watched Dai Yao leave, silent for a long time. "Finally got rid of that plague. Hope he doesn't come back," the guard captain grumbled. Seeing the middle-aged soul master staring blankly, the guard captain waved his hand in front of his face and joked, "What's wrong, man? Did the 4th Highness threaten you too? You seem pretty spaced out about him." Snapping out of it, the middle-aged soul master swatted the guard captain's hand away and said, staring after Dai Yao, "Brother, do you know what I saw?" "What?" The captain was confused. "I saw a legend in the making." A day and a night later, Dai Yao finally returned to the Royal Academy. He was met with curious, contemptuous, and even hostile stares as he stepped onto the grounds. Dai Yao ignored them, heading straight back to his training spot. Behind the waterfall, in the dark cave, Zhu Zhuqing was practicing. Dark attributed soul power gathered around her, drawn in and absorbed. She opened her eyes, feeling the changes within, and thought, "My cultivation speed has really picked up." Before, gathering energy felt like begging for it. Now, it rushed to her, eager to be part of her training. Ever since her martial soul had mutated, after taking the purple lotus, her martial soul was nothing like the nether civet cat's. But thinking about the mysterious Zilian, she felt worried. She didn't know where Dai Yao got it, but the purple lotus was clearly a treasure beyond compare, something capable of enhancing martial souls in a way never seen before. "If he doesn't want to say, I won't push. But I need to remind him to be careful when he gets back. This is a big deal." So many people knew her at Xinglua Academy, and she hadn't publicly used her martial soul since it mutated. As she worried, she heard footsteps outside the waterfall. Zhu Zhuqing immediately suppressed her martial spirit, went to the cave entrance, and peered out warily. When she saw the familiar figure, joy surged through her. "You're back," Zhu Zhuqing said with a soft smile, seeing Dai Yao's dusty face, like an old married couple, simple and sweet, not fiery like young lovers, born into royalty. Their emotions tended to be more restrained. Under the harsh rules of the throne competition, they seemed to cling to each other for warmth. It was a compromise, a choice made with no other option. The engagement was just a formalization of that compromise, but after 3 years of growing together and supporting each other, Zhu Zhuqing had come to truly care for Dai Yao, especially after he'd appeared when she was in despair, opening a crack in the frozen heart she developed after the Zhu family's misfortunes. "How's your martial spirit?" Dai Yao hugged Zhu Zhuqing, noticing she seemed taller. Thinking about the strange things that had happened after she took Zilian, Dai Yao asked worriedly. Touched by his concern, Zhu Zhuqing replied warmly, "The Zilian has made my martial spirit much stronger." Then, she activated it. "Doesn't look any different," Dai Yao observed, not seeing anything obvious. He might have said that, but his body was quite honest. Zhu Zhuqing was incredibly captivating in her martial spirit state. She used to be agile, but now she possessed an air of royalty, noble and mysterious in her movements. Why is she so attractive? Is this because of the Zilian? Dai Yao wondered. Take a closer look, Zhu Zhuqing said, a playful glint in her eyes. When Dai Yao closed his eyes, a chill suddenly enveloped him, like being plunged into ice water. He shivered, his breath turning to frost. What is this? Why is it so cold? Dai Yao rubbed his arms, surprised. He was an attack-type soul master with incredible physical strength and high cold resistance. He could sit under the waterfall in the dead of winter without flinching. What was happening? Opening his eyes, the cave looked the same, moss everywhere, no sign of the cold. Wait, the temperature hasn't changed. Dai Yao realized, turning around in shock. How did you do that? He asked, astonished. An ice crystal crown appeared above Zhu Zhuqing's head, radiating immense pressure. The dark elements in the cave sprang to life, welcoming the arrival of their king. The sacred white tiger spirit seemed to sense something, instantly possessing Dai Yao. It was an existence on par with his sacred white tiger martial spirit. This is my current martial spirit, the Lord of the Netherworld, Zhu Zhuqing explained. I really don't know what to name it. There was some delay at the company today. The next chapter will be in the early morning. Chapter 47 Wuhun Palace. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 47, Spirit Hall. Lord of the Netherworld. Dai Yao repeated, surprised. Yes, it looks similar to the Nether Cat spirit, but it's fundamentally different. Zhu Zhuqing elaborated, if the Nether Cat spirit is a traveler in the underworld, this one is its ruler, its king. Dai Yao couldn't see the difference at first glance. But when the ice crystal crown settled on Zhu Zhuqing's head, though her appearance remained the same, her whole aura changed. It radiated a sense of dominance, of being above all others. What about that cold I felt? Dai Yao asked, remembering the bone-chilling sensation. That's the breath of the Netherworld. It doesn't affect the physical world, but it chills the soul. Dai Yao thought for a moment. Even if I can't see the change in your spirit, seasoned soul masters might notice if we're not careful. Zhu Zhuqing's expression turned serious. No more spirit usage for now. After my duel with Dai Yaming in a few days, we're leaving the Star Luo Empire. Heading somewhere no one knows us. Dai Yao stated. Zhu Zhuqing nodded. How did you obtain the soul ring? Everything went smoothly. That's good. Zhu Zhuqing hesitated. What's on your mind? Dai Yao asked, noticing her shift in mood. What if? Zhu Zhuqing started, taking his hand, avoiding his gaze. What if you didn't duel and we just left? Would you be angry? Dai Yao lifted her chin, making her look at him. Do you think I'd run without a fight? Do you see me as a coward? No. Zhu Zhuqing shook her head, almost in tears. It's just, the second prince is too strong. You can't win. Running doesn't make you a coward. You have greater potential. Wait a few years, and you'll surpass him. Dai Yao thought to himself. In the original story, Dai Mubai ran from the throne fight and ended up in the Heaven Do Empire, which Zhu Zhuqing resented. Now, she was suggesting he avoid the battle. Do you believe in me? Dai Yao asked intently. Of course, but there's no reason to fight out of emotion. Zhu Zhuqing tried to reason. Dai Yao cut her off. Take a look at my second soul ring. Second soul ring. The White Tiger clan's second rings are usually earth dragons, right? What's special about it? Zhu Zhuqing wondered, but as the purple ring materialized, her eyes widened in shock. That's. Now do you think I can beat Dai Yaming? Dai Yao asked confidently. The purple ring erased her worries and doubts, calming Zhu Zhuqing's mood. The next day, Xinglua Imperial City streets bustled with activity. The teenage boy and girl walked along. He was handsome, she was as delicate as porcelain. It was Dai Yao and Zhu Zhuqing. Zhu Zhuqing's face was cold, indifferent, as if nothing interested her. But her tightly gripped hand on Dai Yao's sleeve betrayed her true feelings. Relax, no need to be so nervous. Dai Yao reassured her. He offered his arm. Zhu Zhuqing took it, holding on as if afraid of getting lost. Though her face was still stoic, she took in the world around her. She hadn't had a chance to explore the world after spending the last 3 years locked away in training. Dai Yao felt a similar excitement. He'd been just an average blue-collar worker in his previous life, with little exposure to the world. Now, seeing a classical building for the first time, the feeling was unreal. Some shady characters in an alley eyed the two in their fancy clothing. Those two kids look like they're loaded. 1 score will make us rich. A short guy urged the leader, but the leader smacked him upside the head. You got no eyes. See what they're wearing. Nether cat and white tiger. That's the Star Luo royal family. We're in the Star Luo imperial city. You want to die, don't drag me along. Pedestrians who noticed Dai Yao's and Zhu Zhuqing's outfits gave them surprised looks, then lowered their heads respectfully. This was, after all, the Star Luo imperial city. The center of imperial power. They arrived at their destination, the spirit hall of Star Luo imperial city. Impressive, Dai Yao breathed. The spirit hall wasn't just huge. It looked elegant and solemn, appearing brand new. Even after centuries, in Star Luo imperial city, the spirit hall could command such a presence, showing just how powerful it was. He nudged Zhu Zhuqing, who was still in awe. Let's go in. The spirit hall was a force to be reckoned with. The angel god and the Rakshasa god both came from here. During Dai Yao's 9 years in the Star Luo Empire, he found everything gray and depressing. He'd considered running away like Dai Mubai. But the queen's power had quelled that idea. Dai Mubai was the queen's son. Without her assistance, he wouldn't have escaped Star Luo so easily. If he left the imperial city without the elders' council's backing, the queen would seize the chance, but now, Zhu Zhuqing's mutated spirit meant they couldn't stay in the academy. Dai Yao had to leave the Star Luo Empire, the power of the two princes, Davis and Dai Yaming. The power of the Zhu clan, through the queen. The Xinglua Emperor's royal authority and the elders' council all were intertwined. The princes and the queen hated him. It wouldn't be easy to leave. The spirit hall was his only option. An old man stopped them. He was shocked to see Dai Yao's clothes. Are you two from the royal family? He asked, surprised. The spirit hall didn't have much love for the royal family. During the time the Star Luo Empire and the Clear Sky School cooperated, the spirit hall was pushed back and suppressed by the Clear Sky School. The royal family and the spirit hall had always avoided each other. Someone suspected of being from the Xinglua royal family coming to the spirit hall was a big deal. Correct. Dai Yao, the fourth prince. Dai Yao answered. He rushed a little. Chapter 48 Soul Master Registration. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 48 Soul Master Registration. The old man led Dai Yao and the others into a grand hall. Inside, antique tables and chairs suggested it was a place for entertaining guests. Your Highness, please wait here. The old man said respectfully, then instructed servants to quickly bring tea. He then disappeared down a winding corridor, heading towards a large, opulent office. This was Bishop Ferdinand's domain. Knock, knock star. The old man rapped on the door. Come in, a deep voice rumbled. 2 guards swung open the heavy doors, and the old man entered, finding Bishop Ferdinand buried under a mountain of paperwork. As the highest-ranking spirit hall bishop in the Star Luo Empire, this was Bishop Ferdinand's daily grind. What is it? Bishop Ferdinand asked, looking up in surprise. The old man, while not brilliant, was capable of handling routine tasks. The bishop couldn't recall scheduling anything important for today, or expecting any VIPs. Bishop, the fourth prince is here, waiting in the reception hall, the old man reported. Bishop Ferdinand returned to his paperwork, replying dismissively, the fourth prince. He's not in line for the throne. No need to fuss. Besides, we've never been too cozy with the empire. Getting close to the fourth prince might raise eyebrows. Just handle his business quickly and don't let him linger. Yes, sir, the old man replied, turning to leave. Bishop Ferdinand suddenly stopped him. Wait. More instructions, Bishop. The old man asked, puzzled. Ferdinand paused, stood, and leaned on the table, frowning. Did the fourth prince say what he wanted? He's here to register as a soul master. Soul master registration. Bishop Ferdinand repeated, as if it were a bad joke. No prince had ever registered as a soul master with the Spirit Hall. The Spirit Hall typically registered commoner soul masters, down on their luck nobles, and those from smaller, allied territories. Although the Spirit Hall theoretically oversaw all soul masters, both the Tiando and Star Luo royal families largely ignored them. The 3 upper sects were equally indifferent. these powerful groups never bothered to register their soul masters with the spirit hall. Interesting, Bishop Ferdinand said, a smile playing on his lips. His memory of 3 years ago was hazy, but Dai Yao's extraordinary talent still stood out. He made it a point to keep tabs on anyone who could impact the spirit hall, especially after the news broke that Dai Yao had defeated a great soul master as a first-rank soul master. He became intrigued and dug a little deeper. "Take me to meet this kid," Ferdinand ordered. In the reception room, Zhu Zhuqing sat primly, sipping tea, but felt annoyed. She and Dai Yao had come out today, and she'd hoped for a romantic outing, not a visit to the spirit hall. Soul masters in Douluo continent matured quickly. Even Ma Hongjun, still in his teens, was already chasing girls. In that environment, although Zhu Zhuqing spent most of her time practicing, she also knew something about love. When Dai Yao asked her out, she thought this training-obsessed guy had finally come around. She asked doubtfully, "Brother Yao, why are we here?" Dai Yao just smiled. To register as a soul master, that the royal family didn't have a tradition of registering with the spirit hall. Seeing Dai Yao wasn't going to elaborate, Zhu Zhuqing huffed and turned away. Just then, the door swung open. A figure as big as a house waddled in, wearing a fake smile that reminded her of the fifth elder. He seemed lazy, a far cry from the serious demeanor he'd had when reviewing documents. "Isn't the fourth highness supposed to be dueling with the second highness soon?" he asked. "Why are you gracing my humble spirit hall today?" Dai Yao knew Bishop Ferdinand had been keeping tabs on him, and relaxed. It would be much easier to achieve his goal. "To register as a soul master, of course," Dai Yao replied with a smile. "Shouldn't all soul masters come to the spirit hall?" Bishop Ferdinand chuckled. He's trying to cozy up to us, but in a roundabout way, the bishop thought. Hiding his intentions behind a soul master registration. The royal family is smarter than they look. Throughout history, countless princes had sought refuge with the spirit hall, unable to endure the cutthroat royal family, but most of these princes were either incompetent or royal spies, infiltrating the spirit hall and causing damage. Of course, some had risen through the ranks to become titled Douluos, a thorn in the Star Luo Empire's side. However, the Xingluo royal family had never changed its strict traditions. The emperor chosen by its brutal system, rather than the occasional title Douluo, was the true reason the empire had lasted 10,000 years. Ferdinand had once been wary of Dai Yao. Creating his own soul skills upon obtaining his first soul ring was unheard of in spirit hall records. If Dai Yao won the throne, he'd pose a significant threat to the spirit hall, but today, Dai Yao had come to the spirit hall voluntarily. Ferdinand quickly recognized his purpose and formulated a plan to use him. He'd train a title Douluo who would become a major headache for the Star Luo Empire. "If you're here to register, come with me," Bishop Ferdinand said, gesturing for Dai Yao to follow. The spirit hall complex was vast. After a long walk, they arrived at the Soul Master registration area. Along the way, many Soul Masters bowed deeply to Bishop Ferdinand, who only nodded in acknowledgement. It was a clear demonstration of Bishop Ferdinand's power. The registration building was massive, over 200 meters tall, with enormous floor-to-ceiling windows flooding it with light. As soon as Dai Yao entered, he felt a strange sensation. The soul power in his body seemed to pulse with a unique rhythm. Looking around, Dai Yao pinpointed the source. A fist-sized black stone in the center of the room, identical to the one used during his martial soul awakening. On the wall hung a massive portrait of a beautiful, six-winged woman, holding a shield in one hand and a sword raised high in the other. It was the Seraphim, the spirit hall's god-level martial soul. "Your Highness, are you drawn to the portrait as well?" Bishop Ferdinand asked with a smile. Chapter 49 Ferdinand's Surprise. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 49, Ferdinand's Surprise. "The angel painting caught my eye when I first got here, too," Ferdinand remarked. "Rumor has it the spirit hall was founded by an angel, so the angel's sword is a symbol of the hall itself." Dai Yao nodded. Qiandaoliu, the spirit hall's high priest, possessed the angelic spirit. The hall had passed down this martial soul for generations. Perhaps Qiandaoliu's status was so lofty Bishop Ferdinand was unaware of it. "All right then, let's get started. Show me your spirit and release your rings," Ferdinand instructed. Dai Yao moved to the center of the hall. He extended his right hand, calmly focusing, and activated his inner soul power, summoning the white tiger spirit. A roar echoed, filled with the commanding presence of a king. Dai Yao grew taller, and a pair of snow-white wings unfurled from his back. 2 spirit rings appeared at his feet, rising and falling around him, one yellow, one purple. The purple ring glowed with a mysterious, potent light. Bishop Ferdinand had been wearing a smile, eyes almost shut. He'd come in and sprawled on a lounge chair, looking completely relaxed, but the moment he saw the purple ring, he shot up, his face etched with shock. He rubbed his eyes, double-checking the ring's color, and exclaimed, "Is that a 1,000-year spirit ring?" Dai Yao calmly replied, "It is." Ferdinand took a deep breath, trying to regain his composure. "You must have been through hell. Earning a 1,000-year ring is unheard of. What a shame you're the prince of the Star Luo Empire. Otherwise, I'd have snatched you up for the spirit hall in a heartbeat." Showing off the ring and proving his potential was the first step. Under the Dai family's brutal clan rules, most wouldn't have a shred of loyalty. Dai Yao, a time traveler, had a normal worldview. Reading the novel, he hadn't felt much about Dai Mubai's experiences. But living it, he saw how inhumane those rules were. But joining the spirit hall was out of the question. As awful as things were in the Star Luo Empire, he cared for a few people, like his third uncle. Joining the spirit hall meant cutting ties with them, and Zhu Zhuqing would have to break with her family too. Dai Yao wasn't about to make that decision for her. "I'm afraid I have to decline your offer, Bishop," he said. Ferdinand didn't give up. "As I understand it, 4th Prince, you're not exactly in a good position." "How so? Do you know why the eldest prince hasn't made a move against you since you joined the academy?" "Why?" Dai Yao asked, puzzled. He'd wondered that himself. "The eldest prince sent an assassin on his first day, then vanished," Ferdinand explained patiently, "because he was competing to be captain of the Star Luo royal team, against the 2nd prince. He worried you team up with the 2nd prince. When you two clashed, he was overjoyed. He let you fight it out, weakening the 2nd prince. Now that the captain of the royal team has been chosen, and the eldest prince will likely win, he's free to deal with you. 4th Highness, I didn't think you had a chance against the 2nd prince. But that 1,000-year ring changed my mind. Even if you beat the 2nd prince, you can't beat the 1st prince. One wrong move, and you're doomed." Bishop Ferdinand looked at Dai Yao, affection in his gaze, and pleaded, "4th Highness, come to the spirit hall. We don't have outdated clan rules. We'll give you the best training, and soul bones as bonuses when you reach certain milestones." After a long silence, Dai Yao sighed. Zhu Zhuqing looked at him anxiously. "An imperial prince, Bishop, do you honestly believe the spirit hall would unconditionally support my training?" Dai Yao asked slowly, choosing his words carefully. Seeing Dai Yao's hesitation, Ferdinand said, "Your Highness, don't worry about that." Dai Yao cut him off. "Let's say I agree that the spirit hall will support me completely. Will the other geniuses here accept it? Will they let me take the resources they deserve? And as a traitor, will the Pope truly trust me?" That the two questions silenced the bishop. Dai Yao was right. Resources were finite. If he got more, others got less. The geniuses in the spirit hall would likely resent him, creating the same mess he had at the academy, and then there was the issue of trust. Traitors were always viewed with suspicion. Over the centuries, princes and rare talents had defected to the spirit hall to work as spies, causing great damage. These princes were scrutinized before joining. But they'd been exposed as spies in the end, and their backstories were just elaborate lies. There was no way Dai Yao could earn the Pope's trust. It was a catch. 22. Ferdinand looked at him with pity. Almost, Dai Yao thought, coming to the spirit hall was a way of signaling he was open to them, moving closer, not joining. Anything easily obtained was undervalued. Only those who were heavily recruited were cherished. That's how things were in his old life. The hard-working veterans got scraps, while the green recruits got bigger salaries. It was just human nature. "I am interested in the spirit hall, but it might not be the right time to join," Dai Yao said, meeting the bishop's gaze. "What do you mean?" the bishop asked. "After my duel with Dai Yaming, I'm leaving the Star Luo Empire. I might need your help then. Don't worry, as long as I'm here, I'll ensure your safe escape, Bishop Ferdinand vowed. The bishop's eagerness worried Dai Yao. Aren't you worried I'm just using the spirit hall to get out of the empire? Since I want to recruit you, I have to trust you. Even if you're using me, I have to show you the spirit hall's sincerity. Chapter 50 Dai Hengyu's Decision. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Edited content, Chapter 50, Dai Hengyu's Decision. The bishop's words resonated with Dai Yao. At Star Luo Royal Academy, he was practically the elephant in the room, a pariah no one wanted to acknowledge. His position was precarious, and his prospects for the throne were dim. No one, not even the most opportunistic types, were willing to back him, yet, the Spirit Hall, with its immense power, had shown him respect. Then, after my duel with Dai Yaming, we'll leave the Star Luo Empire, Dai Yao declared his plan. The Spirit Hall will be waiting to welcome you, Your Highness, Bishop Ferdinand assured him. On the way back, Zhu Zhuqing looked at Dai Yao, hesitant to speak. She knew Dai Yao had put a lot of thought into their future. She could even understand him wanting to escape to the Tiando Empire, but joining the Spirit Hall? That was beyond her comprehension. Just ask whatever's on your mind, Dai Yao said, noticing her hesitation with a smile. Why do you want to go to the Spirit Hall? Zhu Zhuqing asked. It's not about joining, it's about getting close, Dai Yao clarified. Getting close? Yeah. Joining the Spirit Hall is a one-way street. But we don't have much choice right now, do we? Can we just waltz out of the Star Luo Empire? The Queen has eyes everywhere. Leaving the Imperial City might give us freedom, but it also puts us in a vulnerable spot. If we want to stay safe, we need a powerful force to shield us from the Queen's reach. And on this whole continent, only a few organizations have that kind of power. Because we're enemies, the Tiando Empire might offer us protection. But as a prince from an enemy nation, I'd likely end up as their prisoner. If that's how it ends, what's the point of leaving the Star Luo Empire? The other major sects, like the Clear Sky School, Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School, and Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan, are all located in Tiando. Going to them would likely result in the same fate as going to the Tiando Empire. Any freedom we gain would be severely limited. The Spirit Hall, however, stands apart from both empires. It's the best equipped to protect us. Plus, the Spirit Hall mainly consists of civilian soul masters, making them the most tolerant. So, going to the Spirit Hall is our best bet. Zhu Zhuqing paused, realizing that Dai Yao had explained why he chose the Spirit Hall but hadn't clarified what he meant by getting closer. Her eyes widened in confusion as she tilted her head and asked, "What do you mean by, getting closer?" Dai Yao explained as they walked, "We're leaving the Star Luo Empire, but that doesn't mean we're cutting all ties, does it? Do you really want to sever all contact with your family?" Zhu Zhuqing was taken aback by his words. The thought of the Zhu family still made her uneasy, but the idea of completely breaking away was difficult to stomach. Seeing her reaction, Dai Yao knew he was right. Zhu Zhuqing didn't have the courage to completely cut ties with the Zhu family. Wasn't that exactly what happened in the original story? Zhu Zhuqing and Dai Mubai fled to the Tiando Empire. They didn't choose to fight back when there was no hope of winning the throne. Furthermore, after becoming titled Douluos, they not only didn't seek revenge on their clansmen but even forgave them. Dai Mubai even gave up the throne to Davis. That revealed their inherent submissiveness. Their bloodline must have played a significant role in that decision. Therefore, Zhu Zhuqing would never completely break with her family, no matter what, but Dai Yao was different. He was a time traveler, he didn't harbor any warm feelings toward his so-called family, and he had a blood feud with the Queen. He would be the first in line to help bring down the Star Luo Empire if anyone ever tried, but since Zhu Zhuqing was his fiancée, he needed to consider her feelings and couldn't make the decision unilaterally. I understand. Thank you, Brother Yao. Zhu Zhuqing was overwhelmed with complicated emotions. As clever as she was, she grasped Dai Yao's reasoning for approaching the Spirit Hall and felt a surge of affection. However, his words also forced her to confront whether she was truly ready to break with her family. If she really did join the Spirit Hall, bitterness and sweetness welled up in her heart at the same time, leaving her in turmoil. after returning to the academy, Dai Yao went straight to his training spot. He sat beneath the waterfall as always, practicing to withstand the force of the water. Even though it had only been a few days, he couldn't afford to slack off. Just then, he noticed two figures approaching. The fiery red figure was, of course, Feng Wudong, and the other was Zhang Xiaofan, whom he hadn't seen in a while. Feng Wudong led Zhang Xiaofan to Dai Yao, exchanged a few words, and then Zhang Xiaofan explained his purpose. "Your Highness, the Vice-Dean requests your presence." Vice-Dean? That there were several Vice-Deans. Dai Yao couldn't immediately recall which one he was referring to. "It's Prince Dai Hengyu." Dai Yao felt a knot of unease in his stomach and thought to himself, after all this time, it's finally happening. Going to the spirit hall in such a blatant manner was bound to catch the attention of those who were interested, and he had no intention of keeping it a secret. He arrived at the Vice-Dean's office and knocked. "Come in," a voice called from behind the door. Zhang Xiaofan opened the door and gestured for Dai Yao to enter. After Dai Yao stepped inside, he gently closed the door. Dai Hengyu was pleased to see Dai Yao, who had grown taller and looked so dashing. Your mother would be so proud, he thought to himself, but the news that Dai Yao had gone to the spirit hall a few days earlier had unsettled him. No one in the Star Luo royal family dared to have any dealings with the spirit hall. Dai Hengyu cut right to the chase. "Dai Yao, why did you go to the spirit hall a few days ago?" "Soul Master registration," Dai Yao replied expressionlessly. "Registration as a Soul Master?" Dai Hengyu frowned, as if he had heard a bad joke. He couldn't understand why a prince of Star Luo would want to register as a Soul Master with the Spirit Hall. "Yes. The Spirit Hall gives a small subsidy to every registered Soul Master below level 30. A great Soul Master gets 10 gold coins every month. As a prince, the Elders' Council gives me 1,000 gold coins every year, but 1,000 gold coins isn't enough at the Royal Academy. 10 gold coins per month is 120 gold coins per year, which is a lot of money for me, so I went to the Spirit Hall to register as a Spirit Master." "I don't see any problem with that," Dai Yao explained. Dai Hengyu found it hard to argue with his logic. For each prince, the Elders' Council's allowance only accounted for a small part of their income. Most of it came from their mother's family. But no one expected Dai Yao to be such an oddity, with no mother's family at all, so he lacked that major source of income. But those were just Dai Yao's excuses for going to the Spirit Hall. He practiced day and night. Besides studying Soul Master knowledge, he didn't have any extra expenses. He had plenty left over from the Elders' Council's allowance every year.